Damn Hayter. Hi, David.
That's right. Hello. Damn ass hello.
Damn
To you
right.
all.
He's the writer, so we all updated
Right.
accordingly.
Yeah. We
Yeah.
just following the leader at this
Mm-hmm.
point.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you, David, for coming and joining us. So before we get into all of our questions, would you
Mm-hmm.
mind giving us a little bit of an intro about yourself?
Yes, I'm David Hayter. I need no introduction. No, that's not true. What
I want to. Can I
I
introduce you? Can I introduce you?
sure, sure.
That's David Hayter. He needs no introduction. Okay.
Very good. Very good.
No, David
No.
is a very prolific writer, voice actor, on-camera actor, and an extraordinary human being and one of my best friends. I love this man. You will know him from franchises. Well, tell me your favorite writing credits you have. Your favorite ones.
Well, X-Men and X-Men 2. I think
Hmm.
X-Men 2 is my favorite movie that I've been a part of, and Watchmen and Scorpion King, and I directed a movie
Mm.
called Wolves, which co-starred my friend Jennifer Hale,
Co-star.
and she was the co-star. She got her throat bitten out.
Yeah.
Ah! And yeah, so and I was an executive producer, writer on the show Warrior Nun, which I'm very
Hmm.
proud of for Netflix. That was a pretty kick-ass show.
Hmm.
And then on the acting side, you probably know me from the Metal Gear Solid games where I
Wait,
played Solid Snake
you
and
did?
Naked Snake and Big Boss. Yeah, it's the first year hearing about it. It's
I had no idea. Oh my God.
it's so weird because I seem to remember somebody who sounded a lot like you poisoning me with fox dye virus.
It was for a good cause.
There was not.
It
Just to
was for
proliferate
fun.
nuclear weapons. I don't think that was the hill you want to die on there. But
No, I wanted you
so
to die on it,
yes,
not me.
you did. Yeah, it gave me accelerated aging. So I did. Yeah, so Metal Gear, but I played Castle Cagliostro, and
Mm-hmm.
a bunch of anime
Mm-hmm.
back in the day. I'm Zangetsu in Bloodstained. I'm Kashiwagi in the Yakuza series. I'm the lead Jedi voice in player voice in Star Wars: The Old Republic, which I owe to Jennifer Hale, along with the rest of my career.
No.
And I'm King Shark on the Flash on the CW,
Love it
among
so
other
much.
things.
Love
Amazing.
it so much. I love this because people know, they sometimes know you from like one of your, because you have so many extraordinary things,
Mm-hmm.
and they'll know you from one of them, and then they don't even
Hmm.
realize all this other awesome stuff that you've done. You know, you're a deep talent that goes
Typically,
wild.
if you've had a childhood, I've affected it in some way, and
Yeah. And
hopefully a positive way.
we met when you were Captain America on
That's right.
Spider-Man. I have
We
to get something. I
we
can
won
still hear
one for
you.
democracy.
That's right. I have to get something though. I have
Okay.
because I happen to
And then
have
just
this in
for your
here.
listeners, if I don't know if you can see
Yes.
my shirt,
Snake
but
shirt.
it's full on
Yes.
snake
Now I
shirt,
can see it. Now I can see
right?
it.
Isn't that
Do you
cool?
recognize this? Do you recognize this, David Hayter? Do you recognize this? Can you read it?
I
By
can't read it. Oh, well, Watchmen. Oh,
You
is that my
gave me
Watchmen
this
script?
years ago. It's your Watchman script. I still keep
Oh,
it
wow.
with me in my creative space as a piece of
Oh,
inspiration.
nice.
Aw.
Yeah, it makes me very
Awesome.
happy. Along with the other script in here is one that I wrote that will never see the light of day, and then one
I
that
say that.
a friend of mine. I don't know. I'm not a writer. A friend of mine wrote that won the Academy Award for Best Live Action Short the year that it came out. So you're like, it's those are my like pieces in here.
Inspirational
Yes,
scripts.
right.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Very cool.
yeah. So, all
Very
right,
cool.
Zelda, what do you want to know?
Well, I have many questions about that script. That's not gonna see the light of day, but I'll bug you. I'll bug you after. I'll bug you SkillsHub off air.
Sorry, I said anything.
for that.
I'm sorry, I said anything.
No, no,
Oh,
I'm
God,
curious.
no, no.
But you two have worked on, Metal Gear Solid, Synapse, Republic, The Long Dark, and so much more.
That's right.
You touched a little bit of base on it, but I kind of want to know a little bit in more detail. How did you two first meet?
Oh my goodness. Well, I was working on the '90s Spider-Man. I was Felicia Hardy, the Black Cat, and David came in and he was Captain America. As you can probably tell, we hit it off straight away. Super smart,
Yep.
super fun to talk to. he had the social life, and I was a workaholic. And I was like, "Wait, that looks like fun. Can I come with you?" And you're like, "Yes." And I'm like, "Hey, let me show you this thing. Hey,
Yes.
will you meet with these people? Hey, like the Star Wars Old Republic thing. I
Yes.
was in an Old Republic session years. I mean, what is this now, Dave? Like 12 years
15
ago?
years ago.
15 years ago. I'm in this session.
15, I believe.
Yeah, 15. And Will, the director, is talking about something. I heard him say something about casting, and I was like, "Wait, are you looking for people?" And David's a very successful writer at this point. He does not have tons of free time. And he's like, "Yeah, we need to cast the Jedi." And I was like, "Oh my God." I said, "Have you thought about David Hayter?" He's like, Will literally went, "Would he do it?" And I went, "Yeah, I bet he would. I mean, depends on the what you're paying and stuff, but he's amazing." And they're like, "Oh my God." I'm like, "Let me see." And I thought it was one session. Now, 15 years later, he's still like, "Oh my God, I'm still doing this
15
job."
years.
I was like, "I'm
It's
sorry. I know
it's
you're
so
really busy."
crazy. I always wanted to be a Jedi. It was, it's just no, it's the greatest job in the world. And yeah, as Jennifer says, when we met, I had a social life and she had a career, and we both uh, were impressed with the other's accomplishments. So, and I loved voiceover ever since I was 16. I did my first voiceover jobs and really didn't know the business in LA, and I mean, just had the grand good fortune to meet Jennifer Hale, who is a master of that entire domain, and she advised me and suggested me for things, and the rumor is that she suggested to Chris Zimmerman Salter that I be brought in to audition for Snake. So,
I did.
um, so that was certainly life changing,
I
Yeah.
was like,
and
"I know a guy."
I tried to pay it back as best I can along the way because Jennifer's a pretty amazing creature of the world
Oh, thank you.
of
I don't ever do
magic
that
and
stuff, wanting anything back.
talent.
It makes me excited to connect people. I'm like, "You know who you should meet? You should meet that one." And then I
Well,
just love to watch what happens.
that's part of why you're so amazing.
It's my long, slow
I'm
dinner
so
party.
grateful.
You should meet that person. You should meet that. It's a
Right.
slow motion dinner party in my life.
Well, David, you mentioned writing as well, of
Yes, well,
course.
I'm glad. I'm glad to be at that party.
I do have a writing
Sorry,
question.
I mentioned what?
Nope. Oh yeah. Mentioned the fact that you were a writer as well, of course. Would you mind kind of telling us how you got into writing, and does your experience as a writer kind of give you any help or tips and tricks that translates into voiceover?
Yeah, well, how did I get into it? When I saw Raiders of the Lost Ark,
Mm,
that changed my whole life. I was like, okay, I want to make movies. I want to, just do that for the rest of my life. And at that point, I started writing what they now call fan fiction, where I would jam
mm.
together Raiders of the Lost Ark and Star Wars, and I would hand that in instead of my homework. Um, and I think I'm on a bit of a delay, but that's all right. So I was writing this stuff, and then when I came to Hollywood, I wrote some a bunch of short stories, some short scripts. I wrote a vampire feature, when I was 22, which was not good. Although we did have some interest. That was my first sort of flirtation with professional writing, but I never really thought it was accomplishable. I didn't understand how you get a script to people who then buy it and then turn it into a movie or TV
Mm.
show. Unlike acting, which made sense to me, you just come in and you be charming and ideally talented, and they'll give you a job. So, I mean, it's the craziest story. I've told it a bunch of times. I was a broke filmmaker. I got hired to answer the phones on the movie X-Men, but I knew the director. I had made a small film the year before that he had exec produced. And then he kept complaining to me about the script, saying the script is horrible and nobody knows anything about the X-Men and it's going to ruin my career. And I said, well, I know about the X-Men. I read the comics, and there's a comic.
Mhm.
Um, And so I suggested a scene to him. I said, well, Wolverine runs into Cyclops and he says this and Wolverine says this, and then that'll solve your problem. And he said, good, go write that for me. And that, changed my life. And then I ended up doing 13 months of rewrites, 150 drafts. Worked on this, I worked on the set. I was there the entire time. I ended up getting sole credit on the movie, and then suddenly I was a big screenwriter.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I love that story. I love that
It's a
story.
crazy. It's an incredibly complex and detailed story, but that's the thumbnail, and it is the craziest Hollywood story I've ever heard.
It is the epitome of fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
But
it's the epitome of good luck is when opportunity meets preparation.
Exactly, because
yeah.
you had done your time. You had put in your time learning. You and I wrote a little short one time. Like, you were
We
already
did.
a good writer. You understood the craft. And then that, like you said,
I was
preparation
working
met
on it.
opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I guess this
That's
next
how it
question.
happened.
This next question is for both of you. So what is something that you've learned from watching each other work?
Well, I've learned some incredible stuff just watching Dave live. David is the one, like, no, seriously, when my back, I've made some really brilliant choices, and I say that with all the irony in the world, that have landed me in some very difficult personal situations. And David's one of the people that I will call literally when I pulled over on the side of the road with my feet on the steering wheel and my hands like this going, and he's like, well, just the other day, I was trying to sort out some of the remaining fallout from the strike, and I was feeling quite frustrated and just trying to figure it out. And my boyfriend says, "Have you talked to Dave?" I was like, "That's a good point." And I didn't even have to call you because I immediately went to how you would think about it, and I instantly felt better.
No.
You have such a grasp of, it's that art of war, that long view, that don't let them take your attitude and your perspective or they've won, and
Yeah.
nobody messes with you and wins. Like, no one. And that's a quality and
Very, very few people.
yeah, your internal personal power, completely separate and distinct from, your power in the industry, your power in the actual world. Your internal personal power is inspiring. You could take everything in the world away and you would simply just do it again. And without upset, you'd be like, well, that sucks, and then you'd get to work. You'd be pissed, I'm sure, but you just have this wonderful core, and I learned so much from your wisdom there. Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Well, that's incredibly kind of you. Yeah, that's well, my attitude. You don't get this far in the industry and not be kicked around a lot and screwed over time and time again, or deal with ugliness or lawsuits or just miserable people or failures. And if you let it eat away at you, if you let it build up, it'll kill you. It'll destroy your desire to live and succeed and enjoy your life. And nothing is worth that. So my feeling is it just became along the way to just sort of regard all of it as a game, as I go to work, I'm in the trenches. Sometimes you eat the bear, sometimes the bear eats you, and whatever. You go home at night, you clear your head, and just kick back with an evening of Metal Gear Solid or something like that, and
Yeah.
and then get up the next day and just keep going, and don't let them beat you down, don't let them degrade you, don't let them humiliate you and think they can get away with it, just refusing to allow that to happen causes them to regard you with a different level of respect. And so that's my attitude, and I'm so glad it was inspiring for Jennifer. Jennifer inspired me in all ways, talent, business, I mean, while I have become quite adept at the business, she knew it all long before I did. And her relationships, her uh, ability to navigate the business, and just her sheer fire and relentlessness when it came to pursuing her career and getting what she wants was incredibly inspiring for me, and really honed my attitude towards the things I wanted, because I was really I did not find immediate success. I was pretty broke 8 years into it, and I thought, oh, this isn't going great. And until I auditioned for Metal Gear, and then Jennifer called me and said, "Guess who's going to make some money?" And I was like, "Is it me?"
Yeah.
Because I hope it's me. I figured it
No,
would
I just
probably
called
be
to tell you that
her,
I had another job.
given my luck. I got another job. Actually, it's I got the same job. They just decided to pay me double for some reason. No, it was me. And
Yeah.
and from the time of that phone call, I got Metal Gear. I ended up writing X-Men, uh, and I made a lot of money. And
Yeah.
so I always count that phone call as sort of the beginning of the big break.
Mm.
Yes. I was so thrilled Chris let me call you because I had bugged her about you early on, and that was such a joy. She's like, "Do you want to tell him?" I'm like, "Yes. Yes, I do." Yay.
Well, it was pretty damn cool.
It's fun.
And you know where I was, right?
Where were you when I called you?
My friend Adam Duritz is the lead singer for Counting Crows, and they were mixing their third album, This Desert Life, at a house up in the Hollywood Hills, and I would go and hang out there because they had free food. They had like a fridge full of food.
Mm.
So I would eat that food, and then I got a call on my StarTAC Motorola phone, and I went out to the pool and I sat on the diving board, and it was Jennifer Hale telling me that I got Metal Gear. So I remember it vividly.
Now I will. I forgot. I think you'd mentioned it was at Adam's house, but I didn't remember the part about the diving board. Now it's burned into my brain.
It wasn't Adam's house. It was a rental house that
Right, right. Yeah,
it
but
was a
that's the one where we would all
some
go hang out up there.
musician's studio
Yeah.
house.
Oh, okay. It wasn't the one where the okay, yeah. Yeah. Cool.
No, no, no. The one you went to would be Adam's house.
Okay, okay, okay. Yeah. Way back. Hey,
Let me
90s, what's
just
up?
ask, can you hear me?
We can.
Yeah.
There's a
Can
delay
you
in
hear
your
me properly? Because I know there's a lag. I don't know if there's anything to be done about it,
Yeah, we can hear
but
you.
Yeah, I
hopefully
can hear you.
Mhm.
anybody watching can understand.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah.
cool.
Mm. It's fine. We'll just work with the slight lag. Um, so you mentioned a lot about the truths of the industry. You know, the job is never guaranteed. It's always audition and kind of sending things out into the void, and it's just a fine balance of standing on your own in this industry and not letting anybody take advantage of you. And it can, especially in terms of longevity, it can get kind of you get used to it, but it also can get kind of frustrating. So, do either of you have any habits or outlets that you do to kind of keep yourself sane in this industry per se?
Well, too late for that. That ship has sailed. No. Well, like I say, I mean, what I just said is how I keep myself sane.
Mm.
I go into battle each day, and it doesn't always have to be a battle. Sometimes it's
Hmm.
a great creative collaboration. Sometimes,
Yeah.
a lot of the days when you're working are amazing. Sometimes, you deal with jerks, or you deal with hard negotiations or whatever. But the point is, always let it go at night. My best advice
Mm.
is that we're conditioned to worry about something all night
Yeah.
if it's really eating at us. And it's counterintuitive, but the point is, let it go. Like, really take 20 minutes and clear out your brain and forget it. And you don't want to do that because you're like, oh, no, my brain, I have to solve this. I have to solve this. Your brain will solve it anyway as soon as it rests. As soon as you let it go and you sleep, you'll we'll wake up in the morning so much clearer, and you'll go, okay, I've got it. But that thing where you're like, oh, I'm so mad, or I'm so frightened, or I'm so concerned about this eventual outcome, and if I don't think about it all night, it's going to happen, is the way to drive yourself crazy.
Yeah.
You really, it's the most effective thing you can possibly do is have this thing on your mind, clear it out, go to sleep, wake up the next
Mm-hmm.
day, and you will be amazed at what you come up with. And not only that, but you'll feel so much better because you've rested, you've recharged your batteries. There's a anonymous or an unknown samurai quote. Uh, Nobody knows who said it, though I know what the quote is. Um, Sleep is a weapon. Use it.
Mm.
Mm.
And so
So true.
that's that's pretty clear indication of what I'm talking about.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love that. All I would add to that is that the long view. Is this going to matter in 6 days? It's going to matter in 6 months, 6 years, 6 decades. Life is short. Do what Dave said.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're gonna have failures along the way. You're gonna have successes. You're gonna have, you know, I starred in a film in 1993 called Guyver Dark Hero, and I thought, oh, now I'm a movie star, so everything's going to be good from now on. But it wasn't. Nobody saw the movie, and like nobody saw it, and I was like, oh, well, that was a huge failure, and what am I going to do now? And 30 years later, I have so many fans come up to me and say, oh my God, I love this movie. And it did get out there. People did see it, and it was a stepping stone in my career that I'm very proud of now. So,
Mm-hmm.
but at the time, I was beating myself up. I'm like, I should have done this better, should have done that better, whatever. It's a marathon and not a sprint, and all of those cliches are true, that it all just comes together. And at the times when you're feeling your lowest, you can always look at the day and go, yeah, but right now I'm okay. Right now I've got, I've got food, I've got a place to sleep or
Mm.
whatever. If you don't have those things, you should work on that because that is a genuine problem. Um, but beyond that, if your problems are I didn't get this job, this acting job, or nobody saw my movie or whatever, well, you know, life goes on, and it
Yeah.
all builds into a career.
And that's where you met Marisa, too. So that's kind of a gift.
That is, I met Marisa, my current wife, was well, really my only
Your
wife.
only wife. Your
Um,
only wife.
my only wife was played a hot archaeologist in my first movie, and that's where we met.
And she still
Aw.
could. She still 100,000% could. That woman is,
She
I love
is.
her so
It's
much.
true.
Ah,
She's pretty
yes.
stunning.
She is stunning. Yeah.
I am gonna pull a question from the chat. It seems to be glitching on my end because I haven't seen any of these comments. So sorry, everybody. I was like, you know what? That's weird. I'm not seeing any. So I checked on, and here are the comments. So sorry if it looks like I'm looking on my phone and reading the comments. Uh,
Read to us.
so one question is, what was your experience like working on The Long Dark?
Oh, gosh. For those of you who don't know, The Long Dark is an indie game, a Canadian indie game. And I came upon it. I think they approached you first, David, right? We were at the Canadian Video Game Awards, I think, or Fan Expo, or some kind of a thing in Vancouver, I believe it was. And Ryan Payton came up and said, "Hey, I'm." No, it wasn't Ryan. Wait, no, this was Mark Meir. I'm telling the wrong story. I'm talking about Republique. Sorry. Okay, switching over. The Long Dark was Mark Meir, and
Right,
I
right.
stuck my nose into that one first because I saw Mark post about it on Twitter. He was doing a
Yeah.
Kickstarter for this gorgeous game, another indie Canadian team. Yeah, the Republique was an indie Seattle team. Long Dark's an indie Canadian team. Hinterland Studios on the island here where I live, and I stuck my nose in and I was like, that looks really cool. Can I play? Can I play? And so they let me play. And then Dave, I think they came to you, I think after, or you and Elias were both pulled in on that one then. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Elias and I came in. Yeah, after you guys, anyways.
Yeah. It's a beautiful game. It's a beautiful game. The writing is incredible. We just finished recording a significant piece of the story. That's all I want to say. And it brought me to tears. It was absolutely beautiful. And the music is incredible. And the visuals are so they're so unique and they're so stylized and so gorgeous. Yeah. Love, 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 love that game. First person survival game where you die of your own stupidity. Yeah. Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, you're in a winter apocalypse, and yeah, and I play an old hunter who's in a in a feud with a wild, insane grizzly bear, and so he's sort of like Quint from Jaws,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's a damn cool game.
It's a really beautiful game. I love that game. You can find it on Steam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true.
This next question is for David. Do you have a job you prefer the most? Writer, voice actor?
Yes. Voice acting is the best job in the world, I think.
Hmm.
There is no better day than being in the booth. And I just love, at this point in my career, just go into the booth. I don't know what I'm going to be reading. I just bring my brain and warm up my voice, and you just go and you play, and I get to play so many fun characters. So that's a dream. Um, but writing for me has been a lot more profitable.
Hmm.
So I prefer the lifestyle of a screenwriter
Yeah.
to just voice acting. Um, they're two different things. So, like voice acting is just pure fun. Writing is very hard on the brain. It can be
Mm.
very lonely. It can be very frustrating once you get into production. Everybody wants to change everything. Um, but when you're standing on set and you've written a scene for, say, Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen, and they're saying your dialogue,
Mm.
that's pretty special.
Yeah.
Um, and they built these massive sets, and I mean, when I watched Raiders of the Lost Ark and I said I want to do that, that's what it was like. And to be an integral part of a production like that, or multiple productions like that, is an incredible gift. So, yeah, so voice acting is pure fun. Writing, producing, directing is a lot more complex, a lot more painful,
Mm.
but it can be incredibly satisfying in a number of ways, not least of which is financial.
I love that.
With voice acting in this industry, it kind of had a big change, a big adaptation, especially with the pandemic. Everything was always in person, and then things were remote. Voice acting became way more accessible. How have each of you adapted as this industry as a whole has adapted?
Hmm. Well, I hit the eject button. I want to say the first month of COVID. I was living in LA in the center of all production, and I got a very strong intuition to get out now. And 3 days later, I moved to Canada. And so I came here in the middle of several projects. We were in the middle of recording Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, No More Heroes, a few other projects, and I didn't have a studio. And I know the importance of a good space. So
Mm-hmm.
initially, I moved into a fixer-upper in a pandemic when no one will come into your house to work. So I did my own demo with the help of my very tall brother-in-law and nephews. I, everything was demoed up to about 6.5 feet because that's what I could reach. And they came in and did everything else, and then they'd lift the heavy bags into the dumpster because I ended up having to remove every bit of drywall from this house because it was asbestos drywall. But anyway, I shifted to completely working from home very quickly,
Mm.
and my commute is down the stairs, and I love it. I will go on location for, still for PCAP and stuff, performance capture, and if something on camera comes up, absolutely. But I adore where I live, and I think that change has opened the doors for so many people. So
Mm-hmm.
many people. It's incredibly isolating too, which is part of what was part of the impetus to start SkillsHub. SkillsHub.life was so that we could connect, at least virtually, not just when we were working, but to get the support we needed in between and to grow however we needed to keep working.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Jennifer's right. of course, because she's never wrong. But she, it has opened doors to people. You don't have to live in LA now. You just
Yeah.
have to have a good, you know, studio system or booth, and you can do this from home. However, and I finally bought a booth after 37 years of professional working. I thought, well, I should have a booth. So I bought one, but I use it for auditions and stuff like that. But I almost invariably, since I'm still in LA, I go to the studio because I'd rather, and
I
most
get
of
that.
the directors, the executives are still over Zoom, but at least it's me and the engineer. And I just feel like a little more of a connection with people. And, because we did Captain America, or I'm sorry, it's the Spider-Man series, Captain Planet, all the Metal Gear games we did together in a room like a radio play.
Yeah.
And we're all talented people. We can do it individually. We can record each line separately and make it sound like conversation. But it's not the same thing, and it's not
Mm.
as much fun to just be playing off each other in the booth. And so anytime I have any sort of real influence over a project, I always prefer that everybody get together and do it in person. But that's not always feasible. This brave new world has its positives, um, and those are balanced by horrible, horrible negatives.
You did just remind me, there are times now in the after times when even though we're all in our own remote locations, we can be recording at the same time. We
Mm.
do that on X-Men 97.
Right.
Did it on Slumberkins. Like we've done
Oh, cool.
things like that. Like I love that because to me, that is the secret sauce. You're right.
Mhm.
Getting us in that room, and I do miss the other, but I also miss my island when I'm gone. So, yeah.
Sure.
Another
Some of us
question
don't
from
have islands.
It's not like I own the whole thing. I only own like this, 10,000 square foot lot, but
It's still pretty
it's my square unless I don't pay taxes and then it's
good, right?
their square.
Then it's back to Canada's.
Exactly.
That's right.
I guess I'm leasing it. Yeah. Well, and technically it's none of our squares because we were not here first. Let's not go there. Zelda, what else you got?
All land is borrowed.
That's right.
Mhm. Question from the chat is for the both of you, how do you get back into the headspace to embody an iconic character when you haven't voiced them in a while?
I bet you I could speak for Jennifer on this. I recently had to go in and record some new lines for Metal Gear Delta, for Naked Snake, a job I did 20 years ago, and I knew exactly what I had done. I knew exactly what the tone was. I knew exactly how much worse of an actor I was then versus now, and I had to adjust back. So I did another one from a game I had done even earlier, and I did it, and there was silence from the producers, and I was like, "Is that all right?" And the engineer said the producers are in awe, and I was like, "Oh, because I know I remember like if you said Captain America in the Spider-Man series, I know exactly what I did, and I know exactly who that guy was." So I don't know why, but I think because we as actors, or at least me, I believe I am Captain America. I believe I am Snake. I believe I am whatever part I'm playing. I believe I went through those things, and I know what my headspace was when I did it, and I know how that headspace is going to come through my voice. So I'm imagining, with Jennifer being considerably more talented than I am, that it is the same for her. But I
Actually,
don't mean to speak for you.
I envy that level of memory function you have. My memory is it'll either hold something like steel or it's a sieve. And quite often when I work,
Mm.
because we work under NDA, and also because I don't want to get attached, like I've never worked on a project and gone, oh, that's going to be huge, because I've been in this since I was a teenager, and
Right?
I'm like, you never know. You think it's
Never
huge?
know.
You got flown to Vancouver to do PCAP for a week, eating steak, staying at gorgeous hotels, and then the whole thing disappeared. You don't know. You did that scrappy little thing in someone's garage and it's a massive hit. You have no idea. So I become Dory when I work and I just whoosh, it's gone. But what I can do is the minute I hear all I need is, 5-6 words, and I'm instantly back in the lane, in the vibe, and I have what Dave described, but I have to hear the 5 or 6 words. And sometimes I have it anyway, but there are like I kind of laughed when you said I hear, the change in your acting over the years, because, oh my gosh, it's hard to listen back to stuff I did years ago, and I'm like, oh my God. But I can't judge myself through the lens of a craft that has evolved over another decade or two. So I
Oh, I can.
yeah, it's so painful.
Judge myself.
Yeah,
It is painful. It's hard. And
yes.
I'm like, well, and it was like I'm replaying Metal Gear Delta. I'm replaying Snake Eater now, and I get so mad about the process because we couldn't see
Yeah.
the cutscenes
Yep.
on that. We did on the first one, but on the second and third ones, they just had timing, like you had to match the line to this. So you don't know what he's doing. You don't know what the context is. You don't know how serious it is, and none of that perspective was given to us. So,
Yeah.
there are times when I'm like, God, I wish I'd have delivered that better. But there's a there are certain things standing in your way, technical things that are standing in your way from completely grasping what's happening on screen.
Yeah.
And it's really just, we don't have any rehearsal. We're just, when you hear us say the line in the game, that's probably the first or second time we've read it out loud.
Yep.
And you just have to, play on. But so I've gotten so much better. The job on Knights of the Old Republic, or I'm sorry, just the Old Republic, Star Wars: The Old Republic has been so good for me to just say those lines in isolation and try to give them all these different subtle spins and stuff. And I just learned so much more since Snake Eater. So anyway, I hope people still enjoy the performances. It personally is driving me up a wall.
I'm sure they will. I'm sure they do.
Somebody in the
Wow,
chat
it's a
says,
cool game regardless, but
Yeah.
yeah, somebody in the chat is playing it right now. They're
Oh.
saying currently playing some Metal Gear Delta. So,
Oh, love it.
Oh,
Love
sweet.
it.
well, good.
next question from the chat as
I
well.
hope you enjoy it.
What is the best way to break into voice acting when living in a small market?
Go to acting.skillshub.life. I'm not kidding you, and sign up. I was talking to somebody about this yesterday. I don't brag enough, but I swear there are a lot of great places to learn. You can learn from a lot of different people, a lot of great stuff, but if you want a place where you can learn everything and always know what to do next and learn from people who are doing it today in a whole bunch of different genres, and people get stuck on the shiny object work, the AAA work like we're talking about right now, the games and the animation and the national commercials and stuff. And that is great work to chase, great work to pursue. But wouldn't you love to be free anytime? And there are almost 20 different ways to make money with your voice, and we have learning paths for nearly all of them. And coaches, we have almost 100 coaches. And you don't have to buy like an hour's worth of time. You can get 10 minutes with someone you can trust, because our requirement is a coach has to be either doing this today to make a living, then they can teach it, or they're a trusted advisor to people doing it today, or they're hiring people to do it today, or directing the people to do it today. So it's current information. So I would do that, and there's a crap ton of free stuff on the site, and the subscription is like, it's like $22 a month. And I did not write a book about voice acting. I made this site along with my sister Karen and our friend Bill, who's a dev, and now Zelda and Michelle, who are our right arms. We have 2 right arms. We don't have any left ones, but no, I'm kidding. And so instead of writing a book, I sat down and I wrote out these paths, and they are step-by-step assembly instructions for a career. Like, that's it. And it's right there, and you can do it on your own time, on your own budget, because like the courses and the coaching is additional, money, but you can book 10 minutes with the director of Genshin and find out, like, how do I get on there? And if you've never done anything before, he will say, start here. And you go, okay. And then you go do it. And you come back again and go, okay, I need 10 more minutes. What do I do now? He'll go, well, try this. And you go, okay. Like, To me, that is the best way to do this. So I'm biased, but that's what I think.
I'm biased, but I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, people ask us all the time, how do I get into voiceover? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I have no idea. I came to Hollywood when I was 20, and when I was 23 or 22, 23, I guess, I booked a guest star role on Major Dad, and I played Yakov Smirnov's son. He was a visiting Russian major, and I speak like this. I have a Russian accent. I did accents in high school, theater school, and blah blah blah. And then I got hired. Legendary director Gordon Hunt hired me to do Captain Planet, and that's how I started doing voiceover. So, you know, I fell into it like I did all of my careers, and B, it was it was 35 years ago. Like, this is not the same industry.
No.
So, you need something like SkillsHub to access people who are the pipeline into the industry. I'm already the sludge collecting at the end of the pipeline, um, to extend the metaphor. And so I have very little advice to offer you other than study, listen to Jennifer Hale, and try to be pleasant to be around. I think those are my best bits of advice.
Listening to you just then, I realized that I don't know if people know this about you, but you're
Are you still there?
hilarious. Yeah, we're still here. You're hilarious. You do a dead-on Homer
I am
Simpson and a
hilarious.
bunch of other stuff. Oh my God, kills me. Oh,
It's true. It's true.
right? Like, all right.
Yes, well, yes, I do a few good voices.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here's my final question for you. Can you name a memory from a project that you did together that still makes you laugh? Speaking of funny.
Oh my goodness. We've had so many. Oh. Okay. One of my favorites was I was working on David's film Wolves. And it's a collection of memories. It's everything from arriving in Toronto, where it was freezing cold, where they were shooting, and my first night, we were doing night shoots, and I reported to the set. And David, I have this ridiculous way of greeting Dave, and I walked. Yes, there it is. Woo! And I walked into the house where we were shooting, and just at the top of my lungs was like, just a bunch of nonsense, because that's the way I greet him. And everybody's looking at me like, who the hell is this? And I was so happy. But the other one is in my scene, spoiler alert, I had to get fitted with a prosthetic neck because I was getting my neck ripped out. And they had all these tubes, and they would pump blood. And so they were pumping, and David's like, no. And he finally goes over, and it was attached to like a 5-gallon tub thing that you would pump. And he goes, here, hold on. And he unscrews the top, and he takes this thing of blood and just dumps it all over me. I was like, yes, let's go. It was so much fun. Yeah.
It was just a bucket. It was just an open bucket, and
Yeah.
it was probably 5 gallons, and I dumped a lot of it onto her. And she comes up to me afterwards, and she's like, "Oh my God, can you believe we get paid to do this?" And then she needed to take a shower, and the only place with a shower was Jason Momoa's trailer, and Jason wasn't there that day, so she went in, took a shower in his trailer, and it looked like Psycho afterwards. It's just blood everywhere. And
I was so careful with the splash.
I'm sure
When
some.
it splashes. There's nothing you can do. It looked like a
Yeah.
murder scene. Oh,
I just want to imagine Jason coming in like, what the fuck happened here? Yeah.
I run into him periodically at conventions, and he's always like, there.
Yeah, we did that movie. So here's my favorite story. So, Jennifer and I were recording Metal Gear 4, and at that point, Solid Snake, because of her, I believe, is experiencing accelerated aging, and so he's 35, but he looks 70, and he's wearing his sneaking suit. He's still pretty fit. And Dr. Naomi here is like, "Oh, Snake, I'd like to examine you." And I'm like, "Yeah, I bet you would." And so the scene is I take off the sneaking suit, but I'm off camera. And Jennifer's reaction is she's looking at my naked body and she goes, "Oh, Snake." Like just and and I just naturally go, "Hey, hey, hey." And she goes, "Snake, you're so shriveled." And, and as far as I recall, that almost ended up in the game because the Japanese engineers didn't know it was a joke. And so we learned you have to be very careful about what you say randomly in character. But that was the story of Shriveled Snake, which
Who's getting his own installment soon? Shriveled
that was
Snake.
very cool. That's right, Shriveled Snake. Snake Deflator.
That would be me. Oh my God, so fun.
That was a good one.
David, thank you so much for coming on here and having this conversation with us. I really appreciate it. Besides, where can we find you, socials wise? Where can we find you on all the places?
Oh, please don't. No. I'm just kidding. Where can you find me? I'm on the Twitters at David B. Hayter. I'm on Insta at the dash David dash Hayter, and the David Hayter again on the Blue Skies, and those are the places you can find me. I'm usually making some sort of ridiculous comment and whatnot, but come over and say hello, and that's pretty much it.
Awesome.
Thank
you,
you
my
so
friend.
much. Yeah, and thank you everybody for tuning in. Be sure to
Yes.
stay tuned for our guests next week.
Bye, everyone.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everybody.
Thank you so much for having me, and goodbye, fans. I love you all.